He is no more in the land of the living as a human being, but He is here with us as God, as the Son of God. The goodness of the life story of Jesus is that He gave up everything that He could consider His own in order to save us, in order to show us how much He loved us. The message of the cross is that love. Many years ago, when Joseph Stalin was ruling Russia, he asked the question, how many legions does the Pope have? He thought that the Pope is going to conquer the world with his legions and that the Church is a worldly reality. He was completely mistaken. But he was one who killed more than 60 million of his own people during his reign, an absolute dictator. Simultaneously, we had in Germany Adolf Hitler, another terrible man, who gassed 6 million Jews and dissidents in his famous killing fields, the gas chambers of Germany. Number of years before, we had another one like that in Pol Pot, who murdered millions of his fellow citizens in the killing fields of Cambodia. Many such evil people have appeared in this planet. What did they want to do? They wanted to become conquerors of the whole world, and they thought that they could live forever. In fact, Hitler was looking for a formula to extend his life. He never could find such a formula. Why did they want to live long? Because they wanted to dominate. The inclination of man to dominate life is tremendous. Carl Gustav Jung, a famous psychoanalyst, calls this inclination the basic inclination in human nature, the call, the desire to dominate others. It is because the devil has got hold of all these people. Jesus Christ never doubted that the devil was a force among us in the human life. Pope Francis, in this beautiful apostolic exhortation on holiness, calls Satan a real power. He is not a myth. Says the Pope, the Christian life is a constant battle. Why do you find all these human beings destroying and killing each other for the sake of power? We had it even in our own country. Power to dominate others. It's a tremendous thing. Once you sit in the seats of power, you forget that you are just like any other human being. There's no difference whatsoever. But these authorities forget about it. That is why they bring misery to humanity. Says the Holy Father, we need strength and courage to withstand the temptations of the devil and to proclaim the gospel. Our life is to proclaim the gospel, proclaim the love of God, and the devil will do everything possible to destroy that intention. We should not think, says the Holy Father, of the devil as a myth, a representation, a symbol, a figure of speech, or an idea. He is real, and that is what is happening to human life. We saw at the death of Jesus, there were two robbers crucified with him. One was on the left, the other one was on the right. The Gospels say that the one on the right, on the left, scolded Jesus and said, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." He was blaming Jesus on the cross. While the robber on the right side, he was saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are a sinner? The same sentence of condemnation you have drawn. We indeed are being rewarded justly, but this man has done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." That is how the two robbers reacted. How do we react to the sufferings and the cross that come to us every day? How do we react? That is the question that has to be asked always. Is it this corrupting sinfulness? One of the beautiful things that is being said by Pope Francis, how often we are tempted to keep close to the shore, yet the Lord calls us to put out into the deep and let down our nets. Look at Jesus. His deep compassion reached out to others. It did not make him hesitant, timid or self-conscious, as often happens with us. Quite the opposite. Jesus was willing to give up everything, including his own life for us. He was not afraid to die because he knew that his death will bring happiness to many people. The message of Easter is that hopefulness. It's to hopefulness that we are called, and hopefulness is found in Jesus, because death could not defeat Jesus, and therefore he rose with all that might. The two angels asked from the women, "Why are you looking for the one living among the dead?" They were asking. Therefore our life should be one of courage, boldness, to be able to give up. In life, you have to take a risk if you are going to develop yourself and everyone else. Jesus Christ showed us the biggest risk that he took was to die on the cross. That is why the Holy Father said, we are often happy to keep close to the shore, not to put out into the deep, because we are worried about what will happen to us. Look at Jesus. He was not worried about what happened to him, and he died on the cross. Says the Pope, individualism, spiritualism, living in a small world, addiction, intransigence, the rejection of new ideas and approaches, dogmatism, nostalgia, pessimism, hiding behind rules and regulations are some of the problems that we have according to him. He says complacency, doing the minimum, is seductive. He tells us there is no point in trying to change things, that there is nothing we can do, because this is the way things have always been, and yet we always manage to survive. That is what he says. Dear brothers and sisters, our life, our challenge is to change the world. Where there is injustice, where there is wrong, we must work for peace, harmony, justice and progress for all human beings, not just for us, but for everyone else. If we have this feeling of being responsible for the other man's salvation, then we will be happy. Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen said, "What about our life? How do we spend our life?" He called our life like a person who is in jail. He has been put to jail and he does not know that the door is not closed. So he thinks that he is in jail and does not know that the door is open. So he does not dare, he does not try to open the door and get out. He does not understand that Easter message according to Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen is that God calls us to recycle our human garbage. Recycle our human garbage. We are all having all kinds of garbage, bad things that happen around us, bad things. We are not saints, so we know our shortcomings. This is called garbage by Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen. He can turn prostitutes like Mary Magdalene into disciples, broken reeds like Simon Peter into rocks, and politically inclined Simon the Zealot into becoming a martyr for the faith. So the Archbishop says further, unresurrected lives are like a man who spent his life in prison, not knowing that the door had been always open. The problem was that he never tried it. What wonderful thoughts, my dear brothers and sisters. We often think we cannot change the world. Therefore we get into a shell and we hide ourselves. That's not life. We have to change the world. It is our responsibility. If we are living in the world, we have to change the world for the better. And that engagement, very often we think we can be safe in a small corner somewhere. But the door is open. The world is open. Why not try? Resurrection is that. Resurrection is hopefulness. Resurrection is joy. Resurrection is commitment. That is what Jesus tells us. Commit your lives and never stay inside a personal prison that each one of us creates. Very often we create a prison for ourselves, which is not the way to joy. Trust in God. Open your hearts to Him and He will give you many blessings and make you become a complete transformer of society. May God bless and keep each and every one of us in this resolve to bring happiness to our brothers and sisters in the world.